So let's move on to university life.
Yes.
So you said you studied 4 years.
Yes.
Just done. And you were in the international student route.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember how many percentage were international per each group each year?
I think it's hard to say. I think over the whole university it was very international, especially compared to other universities in the UK. Maybe if you exclude London universities that are also very international, I think something maybe like 30-40% were international. But then, and why I say it's a little bit complicated is because if you live in the UK for long enough, or if you live in Europe for, well, I guess not anymore, but if you live in the UK for long enough, you can apply as a home even if you aren't British. Which means that even if its class is technically 30% or 40% international, it might be a little bit higher because some of the home students are actually international students.
I see. Yeah, I was wondering if it's 1 out of 100 or
No.
30,
No. It's 30, 40 out of 100, so it's quite international.
Okay, good. And when you moved to the UK from Moscow,
Yes.
Russia, how did you spend your first year? Did you stay in the dormitory or did you live outside separately?
So everyone in Oxford is guaranteed a room in first year of university. Almost everyone takes the room. I know nobody that wasn't in dorm in first year, and most people were in dorms every year of their university. If not, my college, we had 1 year where we didn't have a room, but otherwise I was in dorms for 3 or 4 years.
Oh, I see.
And most other colleges will have a room for you every year if you want.
Okay.
And so I'd say at any given point, maybe 30%, 80% of people are living in dorms.
For the whole year?
Yeah, for the whole year.
I see. Okay.
So most people live in dorms. The dorms they're not the best, but they're university dorms. You get someone who comes to clean your room every week.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. There are some larger rooms, there are some smaller rooms. The price is different depending on the room you get.
Okay. Is it mostly single room or do you get to share with many students?
No, you never share. Nobody shares.
Okay.
But you get some rooms with obviously, except if, for instance, you are a graduate student and you have a wife or a girlfriend or fiance, then you can ask for a shared bedroom and you will get a double bedroom. But undergraduates, it's a single bed, and that's usually how it is.
I see. Okay. I didn't know most of students are going that way because I heard many students in London or in the UK they tend to live in the dormitory for the first year and then they move out to. It's not like that in Oxford.
No, not like that in Oxford. Almost everywhere has accommodation for your whole diploma.
Good. And if you remember your IB lifestyle, your last 2 years, most students usually they are very, very busy. A lot of work, and time management is very important, especially on TP2, final year of IB. Compared to that one, I was wondering how tough it is studying at Oxford.
Yes. So Oxford is a lot of work. I'm not going to lie, it's not for everyone. It's a very complicated, especially engineering. There were some really, really tough years. Second year, particularly for me, was the hardest I've ever worked in my life. I think IB prepares you very well. I think it prepares you better than any other diploma. First year university for me, that was not too much work, less work than IB. Second year was a lot more work than IB. So it really does fluctuate. And in Oxford, the terms are 8 weeks where you have term time, so you're in Oxford, and then 6 weeks when you're not in Oxford. And then again, 8 weeks when you're in Oxford, 6 weeks off, and then 8 weeks again at the thing.
Is it 3 terms?
3 terms. So the first one is called Michaelmas, the second one is called Hilary, and the third term is called Trinity. That's the three names. And what's interesting is that in Oxford, the term time is very intense. You only have 8 weeks, whereas most of the universities are doing 10 weeks or 11 weeks. So you have to crunch a lot of information into not a lot of time. So those weeks tend to be very intense, and you have actually not that many contact hours. So by contact hours, I mean the number of hours that you are in a room with a professor, whether that is a lecture or is it a tutorial. You have maybe 6 to 8 hours
per day,
per week.
Okay, per week.
Per week. So it's not a lot at all. So it's really not a lot at all. So a lot of the work you do is you have to pace yourself. You have to work yourself, and you have to help yourself essentially.
Okay, so lecture time is pretty short.
Yeah.
And you have to study by yourself a lot.
You have to study a lot by yourself. So if I'm comparing now to my courses in UCL, I think lectures in UCL go about half as fast. They lectures in Oxford, they come at you very quickly. At least for engineering, they come at you really, really quick. But the thing is, you have a lot of time on the side where you have to do that work on the side.
Oh my God.
But that's where I'm saying that Oxford is a very complicated school, but it's a lot also about knowing yourself. So you have to know when you need to work more, but you also need to know when you need to stop working. When it's important for you to take a break, because I know a lot of people who work, and they have a burnout. And then they have to stop the year, or they have a massive panic, and that's not healthy either.
Okay, you
so
have to stop for the 6 weeks when you're having a break.
Yeah, or even during those 8 weeks, you need to give yourself, you need to decide at one point, this afternoon, no work. That's too much. Today, no work, I take a break, I go out, have fun with my friends, do a sport, do something else, because otherwise, you need to know when to stop working, and you also need to know, I need to work more. And it's all about balancing that, and if you want to be successful in Oxford, that's what's most important.
Oh,
Really
the
is.
most important.
The most important is balancing between the two.
Good tip, but it's going to be, it's all about self-management, I guess.
Exactly.
Your mind, you have to control your mind.
You have to control your mind, you have to recognize when you need to rest, when you need to sleep, you need to recognize all of these things, and it's very important.
Then besides, when you're not studying, when you're spending time without studying, what did you do in Oxford?
So I had a very nice group of friends in Oxford, and a lot of them came from college. So
in the UK?
In the UK, yeah. No, so the way that Oxford is structured is you have every student is in a college, and so in my college, in my year, we were 120 students, and there were only 5 engineers. We were 5 engineers, and so I knew those engineers really well, and we got along quite well as friends. Now, another way that I got a lot of friends as well was through ice hockey. I played ice hockey there, and that was so much fun. I met so many people from other colleges, from other courses, and it really was an awesome experience for me personally. So I would recommend that if you're in Oxford, take the time to join a society, whether that is a society or sports. They're a really good way to meet more people, and not just work. Because as you're saying, right, it's important to have that work-life balance as well. And so it gives you an alleyway to go and meet new people, and to meet people who are doing different things, and to do other things.
Yes, of course. Okay.
So I did a lot of ice hockey. There was a lot of, Oxford is a beautiful city with lots of green areas.
Yes.
So I go on walks with people. There's a lot of very nice pubs as well.
Yes.
Great places to go out for lunch, for drinks in the evening. And if you like partying as well, there's that lifestyle there as well. If you like more intellectual stuff, there's the Oxford Union, which has debates you know, and no, but very important and impressive people have been there, you know. You can look online actually and you'll see they live stream the whole thing, and you can go there and you can ask questions to people like Obama, you know. You can ask these questions to these people that are very important, and it's really cool as well. So there's a diverse group of activities that you can do. If you like sport, you can do that. If you like reading, there are book clubs. If you like going debating, there are debate clubs. If you just want to go and relax in a park, you can go and relax in a park.
That's very good. Then, including you now, you are doing PhD at UCL. Can I ask what's the career path, or some kind of path after graduate?
Yeah.
What your friends are doing, what are they doing?
Yeah, so in terms of people who I know that were in, I'll speak more generally about STEM. I'd say about 10% continue to do either a master's or a PhD. Maybe 15, but not that many people did. A lot of people went into management consulting, went into finance. Yeah, those were the main two. Very few people went into industry. Not a lot of people went into industry.
You find working in a company?
Yes, so like for me, working as an engineer in a company, that would be, you know, transferring to industry compared to going to finance or management consulting. I definitely would say that most people go towards finance or management.
Oh, interesting. I never knew. After studying engineer?
Yes.
Fintech stuff, maybe.
Fintech, like all that stuff, because I'll be honest, the money. There's a lot more money to be made there, and so a lot of people go there.
I see.
But yeah, so there's a lot of career paths, and you know, I know someone else from Oxford as well. Just because, you know, what you do at Oxford doesn't necessarily force you to do anything afterwards. One of my friends from Oxford, he studied law, and he's starting in September a program to become a doctor.
Oh, wow.
Yes, a very big change. So you get also, you know, a small percentage of people who radically change what they're doing and they go towards something like that.
Wow, your friend must really enjoy studying.
Yeah.
Wow, crazy. Finally, is there anything you would add on for students who are aiming for Cambridge or Oxford, especially maybe STEM major?
Yeah. Let me think. I think it's really important that when you're applying, you recognize that one, it's very competitive. It's really hard to get in. It is a lot of work, and you have to seriously think as to whether or not Oxford is also, or Cambridge is a place for you. If you decide it is a place for you, there's a commitment associated with that. It's a lot of work. I'm sure you know they're all very smart people, but it does still take a lot of work, even for someone that is very smart. And it's about, I think, as much as getting into a university like Oxford or Cambridge is really important and a massive accomplishment, it's not the be all and end all. I think that's another thing I would like to say. And I think in terms of other comments, it's a lot of work. You need to be ready to work, but you also need to be knowing, you need to know yourself and know when you need to stop working. And getting that balance, I know I've made a big point of this, but that's because me in second year, I worked too much.
I see.
And it did not have, I was in a very bad state at the end of second year because I didn't give myself that break. It's really important to know when to stop working, but it's also really important to acknowledge I worked a lot. And even in the years where I didn't work too much, it was a lot of work, a lot of self-discipline, and you need to be ready to give that effort. If you aren't, then it's very complicated to get in. But you have to have that confidence, you have to have that belief. If you're going to go for it, then go for it. You have to do it, just try your best.
Sounds like first step is you need to know what you want to.
Yes. The first step is recognizing if you want to do it, and then I would say decide as early as possible if you want to do that. and start writing your personal statement.
When did you decide you want to come to Oxford or Cambridge?
I decided in, I think like February of first year IB.
I see.
Is when I decided, and then I started writing my personal statement over summer. And start looking at those PAT exams slowly, one or two, maybe over summer. If you have some internships you can do, that's also, I did a little bit of an internship in accounting. It was very easy.
Is it recognized by university admission team, or is it just helpful because you can say that during interview?
I think it's not recognized necessarily like by the admissions team, but it can be seen in the in your personal statements, something like that. If you're very self-motivated, that you went out and you got an internship and you tried to do something like that. And also more generally on the application process in the UK, if you're applying to Oxford, I'd say apply to Oxford and then 2 universities which you think are very easy to get into, and 2 universities which you think are just exactly what you expect.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good
So
strategy.
yeah, exactly. So you have 1 university which is hard for you to get into, 2 universities which you think are safe, maybe 80-90% chance you get 80% chance you get in, and then 2 universities which you think 100% chance I get into this university.
Do you remember which university you applied?
I applied to Oxford, Imperial, UCL, Bath. I don't remember the 5th university.
Fair enough. Yes, that was one of your safety.
That was one of my safeties with Bath, and I don't remember what the other one was exactly.
Okay.
And remember, I think also enjoy your life. If you're watching this, you're 17 or 18, enjoy your life as well.
Yes, I believe they're enjoying their life so much, maybe. I'm hoping this conversation can help students to start thinking about what do I want to, where do I want to go, where do I want to study stuff. And if a student is interested in Oxford or Cambridge a little bit, it could be very overwhelming because there's too many information and they don't know how to start. But you helped a lot today. Thank you so much.
No problem.
I'm very sure this conversation is very helpful for students who is aiming for Oxford or Cambridge, especially STEM area. Thank you so much.
And if I could say actually one last thing about going in, and because I know that you said this, is that it can seem a very daunting task. Start simple. Just start with a personal statement. Small steps, and it'll add up. Because if you look at it as one big thing where you have to do the interview, the pass, the thing, and everything, it becomes very stressful. Take it slowly, one thing at a time. Start with once you've decided that you want to do it, take it, start with a personal statement. Once that's done, start looking at paths. And then you can slowly build up, and it'll be a lot easier than just deciding everything. And again, I loved my 4 years at Oxford. Even if during 2nd year, there was a moment where it wasn't good at all, overall, I made some amazing friends. I learned so much. I grew into, who I am today, and I'm really happy that I went to Oxford. So, I had a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. Some people don't. A lot of people do. So you really have to decide for yourself, if that's something you want to do. And if it is, then go ahead, go for it.
Nice. That's a lovely thing to hear. So I will let you go today. 지금까지 그 선배님과 얘기를 나눠봤는데 오늘 영상도 도움이 되셨으면 좋겠고 더운 여름 건강히 보내시고 유익한 방학 보내시길 바랍니다. 감사합니다.
Thank you. Thank you.